Hi, I'm Ollie Pullen. I've been asked by Terry to come and have a quick chat about my recent success on Dinton Black Swan. It's been a bit of a challenge over there, trying to juggle, you know, as you get older, having more commitments in life and just being restricted to doing Saturday nights most of the time. But yeah, the last couple of seasons have been a bit challenging, trying to get something going. Did have a couple of decent sessions at the end of last year, fishing overbait at range in the sort of autumn feed up sort of season, and then obviously last week, or the week before last, I had a good session fishing on zigs. It's a sort of a known area that they winterise. There's a deep bay at one end of the lake. Yeah, they sort of congregate in the middle of there during the winter, and you know, when there's colder weather. It hadn't really had lots of form, I don't think, really for mid-winter fishing, but as we know, this winter seems to be a bit different, and fish have been showing, and people have been catching them on these zigs out in this area. So yeah, you'd be mad not to join in and sort of join in on the action. So I turned up. I think it was my first session of this spring, and sort of 4 main swims that fish this sort of bowl area, and you know, the fish had sort of been rotating around that bowl. One swim would do a few, and then the next swim would do a few, and it was more of a case of being in the right swim at the right time, and you know, just putting yourself in the mix with these zigs. Yeah, I chose a swim since 17. Done a few fish a couple of weeks previously, and it was one of those swims in that main bowl. Got my zigs out there. There's a big shelf that runs all the way along this deep bowl like this bay. One side's pretty shallow, 7-8 foot, and then the other side goes down to sort of 24 foot in places. And the fish sort of spend a lot of time hugging this shelf, and it's from one side it's maybe 120 yards, the other side it's like more like 90 yards. So if you're fishing zigs at the sort of bottom of the shelf, but trying to sort of get them up to the same height as the top of the shelf, you know, where these carp are sort of passing along this ridge. So got them out there, yeah. And the first night, I think 4 o'clock in the morning, had a bite, and yeah, the rod was flying. You know, not your usual zig bite. I was fishing, I think, 12-foot zig in 17 foot of water, something like that. And got this absolute flyer, so lent into it, and I thought, you know, this fish would obviously come up the shelf into some weed, because it was pretty weighty and not moving a lot. But I think it was just, you know, the weight of the fish on the side. Come in like a dog on a lead, really, from out into the lake, and got it sort of half straight, come straight up and on its side, and I could see it was a, you know, really long fish in the darkness. I couldn't see it was a linear or common, but it was long, you know, longer than anything I'd seen for a long time, and ever probably. And got it half over the net cord, and it just decided it was going to turn and flop out, and that was it. It was going to fight after that. So it was gone up the left margin and plodded around for 20 minutes. You know, probably not that long, but it seemed like 20 minutes. But it was a bit of a dogged fight after that, and got him up into the net. And I knew it was a good fish before it started fighting, so I was, yeah, it was pretty scary at times while it was heading for snags up the margin. But got it in, shone the torch, and instantly you see like a sort of little perchy front dorsal fin, big long linear, and yeah, I could tell it was clearly, you know, a special fish, and something that, you know, bigger than something that I caught in, you know, in recent times, and recognised it as a fish called saddleback, which is you know, one of the real good ones in there. And things with Dinton, there isn't just one real good one. There's a lot of real good ones, and that's part of the draw there. That there's other fish in there of similar size that don't get caught regularly, you know, and anything can pop up. But this saddleback is one that's really, you know, an amazing carp. You know, as linears go, that venue is really one of the only places that have that sort of linear which are that shape. So yeah, amazing buzz, and It was about an hour before light, so I sorted the fish out, phoned the missus up and told her. She said, "Oh, I'm chucking the dog and the boys in, and we're going to drive down and see it with you," because Holly, my missus, she gets involved with my carp fishing, and she was looking forward to seeing this fish because, like I said, the previous season and season before that hadn't really gone to plan. You know, things don't always go that way. So she had spent a lot of time with me and not seeing a fish of that sort of magnitude. So it was great to share that with her. So yeah, we done the photos of this saddleback. Had been out quite previously, not too sure on the weight, but I didn't weigh it, in all fairness. I'm not that interested in the fish's weight. Obviously a big carp is impressive to me, you know, it just because of it's got that size, but you know, the actual figures aren't that important, so we didn't weigh it, but it was a big impressive carp, and we slipped him back, and yeah, I had a couple of friends come up, bring me a bottle of champagne and went to the shops to get some food and beer, and you know, it was pretty emotional. I remember leaving the shops like nearly welling up. You know, sometimes it means that much, and yeah, it was an amazing day. And then same sort of a similar situation happened the evening after, same time in the morning, and this time it was a good battle from the word go, and the fish was flopping around in front of me trying to throw the hook out of its head, and I could see by this time, it was about an hour later, so it was just getting light, and I could see it was another linear. I thought, oh, I can't believe this, and a good one, and managed to get him in the net. He didn't lose the lead on the zig this time, so rod up in the air, lead flopping about, you know, managed to shuffle him in, and it was a fish called the floppy tail linear. Different in shape to the sort of classic long Dinton ones. It's more of your classic shape, which is you know, a bit deeper and a really wide fish, and with a little floppy tail, zip linear, just an amazing carp. Equally as impressive really as the saddleback on the bank as it goes, and it was we did weigh that one because it's only been caught, I don't know, I think a handful of times. The amount of times you could put on one hand, that one's been caught, I think. And yeah, so we weighed it, and I think it was just over 40 pounds. Yeah, equally as impressive. I was blown away, and to catch another common, a 30-pound common on my last night was icing on the cake. Been a lot of Saturdays muddling in up there and going home frustrated, and yeah, just showed a bit of perseverance, and sometimes, yeah, things just go your way, and yeah, it was a great session. So I've been using Terry's bait for maybe 15 years now, something like that, I think. Ever since I've bumped into Terry fishing on Raisbury 1, yeah, maybe that long ago, 16 years ago, something like that. And I've at the time I was as young, I don't know, I was maybe 20, and I was just finished fishing on Conningbrook, and a friend had walked me around a small part of Raisbury a few years beforehand, and we saw one carp sitting out in this massive expanse of water, and ever since then I decided that you know, I was going to go and fish there, and that was all I knew about it. I'd seen one carp floating, and for me, you know, fishing is just a reason to go on an adventure more than anything. You know, fishing is half of it, and the rest of it is just going to new places. And so I got a boat and bought a ticket, and I went up there in the middle of winter and done my first night. And I got there at 1 in the morning after doing a night shift and cast 3 single pop-ups out into No Carp Bay. Obviously didn't have a chance, but that was just the start of my angling on there. And throughout the year I'd bump into Terry on a number of occasions, like sneaking around the edge, or one summer's day I bumped into him in a boat, which is, you know, for Terry to actually be in a boat without falling out is some accomplishment. Yeah, I don't know if it's over enthusiastic or overconfidence or just clumsiness, but yeah, he struggles to stay in the boat. Yeah. But yeah, I sort of got to know Terry then, and for me, I take confidence in using a bait that, you know, Terry was making bait when I was still in diapers, and he was there experimenting, and which shows he had an interest at the time, you know. And so I take comfort in and confidence in the fact that, you know, I'm using the bait which someone that's passionate about it and he's spent time to mess about with it throughout the years. So yeah, I've always used Terry's bait, and yeah, well, to a reasonable effect. You know, I don't get a lot of time, but so yeah, we're at Brooks Way here, which is another lake I've been fishing. I joined it because one of my college friends is the fishery management here, and there's a lot of other anglers down here that I've known throughout the years. So it was a good chance to catch up with everyone. Like I say, it was, you know, one of my draws to here was the fact that it's really nice and sociable. It's, you know, there's a caravan, we all chill in, but also there's a linear in here which has got that old school look to it, and the whole lake has. It's sort of an old school theme. You know, you've got one really nice, good fish, a handful of other really nice ones, and then you've got a stock of smaller fish which are all just, they're really old, they're like stunted, but they're black and like beautiful, you know, and every one of them is a pleasure to catch on the way. And you've got like this one sort of goal at the end, which is the way that obviously fishing was a lot of years ago when there wasn't as many big ones about. So yeah, it's a lovely place to fish, and fished it last autumn, and, you know, was baiting the spot regularly, just loads of crumb boilie and maggots and stuff like that, just regularly on the spot in the middle of the pond. And, you know, after a few weeks got them going and, you know, catching regularly, and then most of my fishing's done because obviously work commitments, only having a Saturday night. Fishing here is more local, so it means that I can work at home on the Saturday or do something with the family, and I can do 2 overnighters maybe a week here. So most of the fishing's done in dark hours, get here after work and then go, you know, leaving at 5 probably to head down to work on one of my jobs. But yeah, when you're baiting in the evenings, that's enough most of the time to you know, give them something that they want to eat, and regularly they're there waiting when you turn up after work. So that's how I've been approaching this, and not had the line yet, but, you know, it's a matter of time. You keep sticking at it. Hopefully one day he'll turn up. But seen lots of pictures of him, and yeah, looking forward to it. Whilst Terry was doing a bit of filming, found a few fish in the edge and managed to winkle this one out. This is sort of what you'd expect down at Brooks Way. Obviously you've got some lovely old fish like the line to catch, but the smaller ones are just as nice. Got this lovely old little common here. I'm going to slip him back. So yeah, so that's the sort of fish that you can expect to catch down at Brooks Way. Always a pleasure to catch everyone. I think Luke's going to be checking in on me over at here in Dinton over the next few months to see how we're getting on.